Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 157.
Hello.
Yes, I'm not sure why I did this either, and I'm Chris.
Oh dear, I don't know why Chris did that as well, and this is Ames.
Why are any of us doing any of this? I'm Caitlin.
I know exactly what to do. I'm Jake.
Nice.
Wow, I thought you were going to say I'm Chris, and we could have proven you wrong.
That would have been really funny.
Wow, I fucked up the joke.
Well, considering,
No.
you know,
I mean,
someday we should maybe actually have a planned intro.
what?
Nah.
Shut your
You're-
fucking mouth.
You're hilarious.
Mm.
Look at this guy. We should plan an intro sometime.
Well, you know.
Maybe we should also invest in the stock market and own a... Well, alright, you guys are doing that already, but...
Own a what? Oh, a
A
home.
home.
I thought you were going to say a hot rod.
Ooh, that would be fun to own a hot
A
rod.
hot rod home.
Oh my god.
A mobile home that is done up like a hot rod from the 50s.
That makes more sense. I was just thinking, like, kitting out your house so it kind of looks like a hot rod, really overclocking the heater.
So, like, sort of like, if the child's bed shaped like a race car
Was a
was a
house.
whole house.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm imagining
it.
though like kitting out your furnace so
Yeah.
it gets like
Furnace, that's what I
800
meant.
degrees or something.
I meant furnace when I said heater.
A
yes,
very
exactly.
hot rod indeed.
It's like, well, what's the purpose of this?
How do we get
I don't know. It gets 400 degrees in this house. I could bake a turkey in here.
Wasn't that a subplot in Home Improvement?
How do we get the Queer Eye guys to
I mean,
to
it
fund
sounds
this?
like it. It sounds like
Sounds like a
something
thing he'd
Tim
do.
the Tool Man Taylor would do.
Fucking asshole. Anyway,
Whoa.
have you become an adult who, like, deals with a dishwasher now? I just remember him, oh, why are you gonna rinse a dish for? Because shit sticks, Tim. Because you don't turn the machine on right away. And,
Also, if you also don't turn the machine on right away, the next time you open the dishwasher, it's gonna stink.
yeah, just proof.
Ew.
Anyway.
You know, there's I saw a YouTube thing though where apparently on many brands of dishwashers you're supposed to put some dishwashing soap in the pan. Like, you know, you put the dishwashing soap in the little cup
Mhm.
that has the lid.
Yeah.
But you also are supposed to put some just like in the machine.
Like the
Just
door?
spray it randomly around.
Yeah, just like,
Like a
you know,
fire
if you
hose?
use the powder, you just
I
put
feel
some
like
on
you're.
top.
I feel like you're definitely making it
No,
up. And
I'm
you're gonna
not.
flood everybody's kitchen.
I'm absolutely not. And the idea is that there's an initial wash. Like, before the cup opens and releases the soap, there's like
Sure.
an initial wash that it does.
Hmm.
So if you put the dishwashing soap in there, it actually makes it so that initial wash. And there's actually, on some dishwashers, there's even a pre-wash cup. Specifically
Jake,
for
I
this
just need
purpose.
you to understand that Chris is absolutely going to do this the next time he starts the dishwasher, and if this is all a joke, I'm
It's
literally
not a joke.
going to murder you.
It is not a joke.
Yeah,
I'll find the video.
Look.
I'll send it to you.
Jake owns a house. He knows more about dishwashers
Jake
than I do.
doesn't do the dishes most of the time.
I'm always...
But
I'm
didn't he get,
always
like, a
doing the
manual
dishes.
about all that? Anyway.
Well, he knows the theory, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we here to do today,
I'm a
guys?
theoretical
talk about
dishwasher.
dishwashers, apparently.
Don't destroy my fucking dress, you shithead.
Who was it?
The white cat.
Oh, Willie.
Fucker.
Oh,
Willie
he
White.
loves fabric.
Oh, yeah, that's like
Yeah,
a
well,
tool.
He's
Yeah.
going to have to not. You know, he's a tool. Tresses.
Well, with that, today we are looking at Voyager episodes Remember and Sacred Ground.
Very.
First up in Remember, Voyager is taking the Anarans back to their homeworld. They met a bunch of them on a colony, and they were like, oh, yeah, you know, we bunch of us go to the homeworld, but it's kind of a schlep because we don't have fancy warp as you do. And Voyager's like, well, fuck, we'll take it. It'll be way quicker. And the Anarans teach them about energy conservation, apparently, or something.
And the ball lute.
Yeah.
Blute, if
the
you will.
sensual ball loot.
Yeah, well.
Tweet
Speaking
that
of
thing.
The
sensual,
balls are pretty sensual.
it turns out that B'Elanna's having some super steamy dreams, and she decides it would be great to go into detail with it about her old friend and commanding officer Chakotay for some reason.
Who I'm pretty sure has never actually had an erection or sex with a woman.
Well, that's Seska.
Seska.
She stole his cum. We don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think they back in the
No,
day.
I'm sure they did. I'm just making fun
Anywho,
of Chakotay. Yes.
so B'Elanna's dreams are
It's Chokay, to be Chakotay to be gay.
What?
Of course it is, but that's not.
I don't
Wait.
know. Anyway.
Well, you said no, it's never had sex with a woman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant his preferred gender, whatever it might be. I'm just implying that
He's
do
never
sex.
been with another
Anyone.
being.
Aside
Yeah,
from his
with
left
his
hand.
left hand.
Oh, I understand now. Okay.
So yeah, her dreams are at first steamy, but soon turn upsettingly fascist.
Yeah, Holocausty.
Yeah, so it turns out that the Anarans had what kind of sounds vaguely like an almost Amish sect called the Regressives, which really creative name. And for some reason, people not wanting technology really freaks them out, so they quote-unquote relocate a bunch of them. Yeah, guess where that was going. And, a bunch of them being murdered and this and that. And
I like that you gloss over that. So they do some murder, yada yada.
But no, really, I'm jumping the gun is the problem, because what it is Balana Balana is living the life of some unknown at this point Anaran, and
Karena, I think, was the name.
yeah, that sounds right.
She calls herself.
Yeah. And, so she's with this lad, and he's like, yeah, everything you've been taught is a lie, and her father, Senator Kelly, is all like, no, what they're saying is lies, and he gradually ups the fascist rhetoric, and then convinces her the father convinces her that the boyfriend is actually just a lying jerk who says this to seduce a bunch of different women.
Yeah,
and
he showed her a YouTube vid or something.
Yeah.
Proved his point.
Yeah, she buys it for, no reason and turns in her boyfriend, and he and some other regressive are not evaporated. What's the word I want here?
Executed.
Murdered?
Yeah, but...
Irradiated?
Yeah, they're, irradiated at the stake or something.
Oh, it was awful.
It was pretty bad.
And now that the story is over, Balana's all... Yeah, that's right, because... So before she got the last chapter, she, realized it was an old woman who was along with them, and...
The last chapter.
Is what's going on here? Well, because she was getting it in, segments. And, the old woman's like, oh, remember, tell the story, etc., etc.
She was binge-watching on Netflix.
Yeah, and then Balana bursts into their, farewell party, and is like, you Nazi fuckers, and they're all like, what? No!
We've never heard of Nazis.
And then, Janeway's like, there's really nothing we can do, and...
Prime directive. I'm gonna hide behind it for once in the last couple of weeks.
But seriously, what the fuck?
Wait, we'll get to that.
No, but still.
So, though, there's this young engineer woman who, seemed to have an aborted plot line with Harry Kim, which is fine, because there was enough going on in this episode, we didn't need that. Who's, just open-minded enough to, take the memories from Balana, and maybe she's gonna blow the lid off this whole thing? We don't know.
Nope, she'll get killed too.
Well,
Probably.
if Balana's watch-through of this show is any indication, she's gonna blow something.
I mean, the thing is, I'm usually the first person to decry hiding behind the Prime Directive, but the issue here really just does become, the amount of time they would need to invest in this is unrealistic. And
If we were rushing through that swarm space...
Yeah.
Because it would take too long to go around, they'd have to, invest decades to overhaul this system.
Well, also, what was Voyager going to do? It's not
Nuke them
it's
from
not,
orbit.
It's not like they're the Delta Quadrant police.
Yeah, this is one of the few times where I'm just kind of I appreciate, because the thing I always say is okay, look, yeah, you can't steam in and change their culture, but you don't have to be friends with them.
No,
Yeah.
you do always say that.
At the end, she goes, we're not going to be friends with them. And
Even
I'm
though
like, thank you.
Harry did want to plow that shit.
So badly, and she was into it.
Yeah, but now she's got the truth. So
She does, so she's going to be killed soon, like you said, or somebody said.
Definitely.
yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciate that realistically, there isn't really anything they could do, because what are they going to do, stay there? And again, clearly there's a pretty strong denial/propaganda machine. The amount of time and resources, they would basically, she'd have to go to the crew and be like, crew, never mind going home, we're going to fix this planet. And the crew's going to be like, this time you're, oh, fuck.
Okay, but why not stay and fix the planet? They're never gonna make it home anyway in their lifetime. What's their big fucking rush? They're never gonna make it.
They've had a lot of chances already to get home in this lifetime. There are gonna be more.
Mm.
I mean, fine.
Look, they know they're
Where's
protagonists
Suspiria?
in a Star Trek show, and that it will work out for them in the end.
They saw that episode.
Yeah. But yeah, wicked bummer of an episode. Partly because the ending is so just that's kind of...
Yeah.
Good luck storming the castle.
More
Yeah.
realistic. That's nothing's gonna come of this anytime soon.
Which, I think the point was, the old woman wanted the story to be passed on.
Yeah, and that did happen.
It's a little bit inner light in that way.
Yeah, it's a never forget sort of message, as opposed to like, yeah, there's nothing we can do to bring these people back, but the least we can do is remember that they existed and remember the bullshit that we did to them,
and hope it, that by remembering we don't do it again.
Right.
Human history would argue otherwise.
Yeah, well, it's the same. Like, there's countless genocides that have happened on Earth that we don't talk about. The Native Americans. I'm surprised they didn't involve Chakotay.
I'm so glad they didn't.
Well,
I was waiting for them to a couple times.
But I'm surprised that they didn't, because, if anybody was going to have opinions on a covered up genocide, it might be him.
Yeah.
Well, not this time.
I know
the Armenian genocide.
Yep.
The ongoing Uyghur genocide.
Yikes. Yeah, I know also this episode, like at the time that this episode came out, there was a big like Holocaust denier book that had just come out from some asshole.
He's probably in government now.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, I also read that this episode was originally conceived for TNG, and it would have been Troy. As if Troy hasn't been through this enough, because it's also struck me as very violations.
Thinking that.
Like, there was a lot of violations vibes from this episode.
Well, especially
What they
especially in like now that you mentioned that it was going to be Troy, I'm like, oh, of course there was a sex plot involved.
Instead, they should have done it for Beverly, because as we all know, she loves reading Grandma's dirty diaries. So probably she would have been super into reading Granny's super hot Holocaust snuff film.
Yeah, and this kid is dead, so it's like fucking
For
a ghost.
Yeah. I said at the end, like, man, this boy's ghost just getting laid all over the place. That was the thing. This was such a good turn around, rather, because at first I was like, what's going on here? What's this weird sex dream? I even said, like, the first sex dream, it was like, wow, I did not know you could get away with that level of heavy panting on network television.
It was pretty hot and heavy.
And then she's like going into it in way too much detail with Chakotay, and I was like, what is this episode? And then the sort of turn occurs, and I was like, oh, okay. And it improved quite a bit.
See, I was well, other than having read the synopsis first, but I'd already forgotten it because it had been a little while. I got clued in very quick because it's like, B'Elanna would never wear this hideous nightgown. That is an awful nightgown for B'Elanna. She would never have worn
She would sleep naked. Like
oh, yeah, no, I mean, the thing, like, the episode, like, description on the app even was like, oh, she's having weird dreams. So it wasn't that. What I just mean was like, is this going to be a bunch of weird sex dreams?
Yeah,
What's
I
going
thought
on?
it was going to be some kind of like these aliens were mind raping people on, like,
or something. Yeah,
We've
like
done that episode.
I know we've
several
done it,
times.
but like especially
it's Star Trek. They love
when we
recycling.
had the party.
Yeah.
10 forward where like everyone was dressed weird, like even like usually the Voyager crew, even when they're like off duty,
they were
usually
civilian
wearing
gear.
their outfits. So I was like, okay,
Yeah,
and then they're having
Harry
like
looked real weird in his little costume.
Oh, I liked his suit.
I liked it
looked
too.
Even
silly as
Janeway
hell.
had a special suit, Tuvok, and they're all playing on their instruments, and it's the way you play the instrument is like tweak the nipple. It's really weird.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that it went the way it did, the huge tonal shift, like, and it was well handled, I think. Like, it didn't feel jarring when it happened. Like, it happened, you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah,
I would say it was well handled.
Hey, yeah, I'd also give
Just like that nipple loot.
gross. I'd also give a lot of credit to Roxanne Dawson because she was really solid this episode.
She was
And
great.
like it gave me a more appreciation for her talents, because she's usually B'Elanna, and I think we saw her stretch herself a bit in the two B'Elannas episode.
Oh, faces, yeah.
But here it was really interesting having her play an entirely different character.
Yeah, she's neither B'Elanna nor B'Elanna.
Yeah.
And like it showed a good amount of range, because when she was in the dream world and being that woman, it was very clearly a different character.
Yeah.
Which was, I thought, really well done.
Definitely.
And she looked fucking great in that little blue blazer thing. That was like the one costume in this episode that I was like, that is awesome.
What's funny is one thing we weren't too keen on the weird, like, headbands the Anarans were wearing.
Oh my god, no, they were terrible.
But God, you think they would have let Dawson wear one so she didn't have to sit through the Klingon makeup for the
Aw.
dream sequences?
At
But
least for
nope,
the dream
she's the
sequences.
the one Anaran that doesn't wear.
Well, I was wondering, like, is it a hat or is it part of their head?
It seems to be a
Oh
hat.
no, not another one of those.
Well, that's the thing, because at first I was like,
They've got hair and feathers.
I was like, this looks like the feather people.
I was thinking that too. I didn't say it at the time.
I'm pretty
but I
sure
was
it's
thinking
hats just because, like, they seem to, like, go with their outfits. So unless everyone coordinates their outfits to their hair.
Don't you?
No.
So, do you think that... So, the woman was quite old.
Yeah.
So, she, is probably among the few people left from that era who would have remembered this genocide.
Mm.
So, do you think the other Inarans, especially like the leader guy who was kind of being a prick about it, do you think they knew? Do you think he knew that this was a real historical event? Or do you think he was being legitimate when he's like, oh no, it's just, she's an old lady.
Now
you're confused about what you're dreaming about.
He definitely felt like in on it.
That's what I thought too, but then the more I thought about it, I'm like, maybe he is just ignorant of it like everybody else. And I'm pretty sure the young woman was not aware of it.
The young one definitely didn't know, because that, again, if anything, she was taught the, propaganda version. Oh, they were resettled. Where?
Farm upstate.
Well, weren't they also taught that they were resettled and then their ignorance made them
they
die,
wiped themselves out.
kill themselves, or
because they were dirty and stuff.
Right, they
so fucked.
Tale as old as time. That's why I kind of think that there was an opportunity. Not that I say that I necessarily want, because I think they would have handled it poorly, but there was an opportunity to talk about Native American genocide, because that was sort of the thing.
Yeah, but again, they would have
forced
fucked it up
relocations
so badly. Well, with that, I think they're going more for the so often forced relocation is a cover, whereas among other things, we did horrible things we did do. The forced relocations were real. They hoped people would die, and many did. But there wasn't even the forced relocation was just a lie from the off. They were just disintegrated.
So that's interesting also, because we don't know that. We know that that's what the boyfriend said. He said that they're being vaporized.
I kind of feel like he's a reliable
I took him at his word.
I'm inclined to trust him on this, but at the same time, I guess, we're only getting that through that one character.
Yeah. But it seems, and even he admits that it's an assumption based on the fact that they haven't heard from any relatives, but they're getting killed.
Yeah.
Maybe they are taking them somewhere and killing them and such, but they're definitely getting killed.
And I'm having deja vu. Was there another, if not a Star Trek episode, something else that was a very similar plot in a sci-fi where people were loaded into a transport ship and then vaporized?
Wasn't there a pod thing episode?
Well, there's the pod thing where they
You're
thought
not
they were
talking
going
about the
where
pod
they were going to the
thing?
afterlife.
Oh, that's the one from TOS? Or?
No, that was a Harry
Harry
was
dies.
thrown to another dimension.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah. TOS had the war, the virtual war where people lined up to die, but they knew they were lining up to die.
Yeah, exactly. But
I thought for sure you were about to take the piss and be like, wasn't there some other Nazi sympathizer episode and bring up Spock?
If there is, it's either an episode we've not gotten to, or it's a different series entirely, because it's not ringing any bells with me.
I don't think it was started, but the whole time I'm watching this, I swear I'm imagining a thing where there were people in a transport ship, a 747 sort of deal, and then a beam of energy just vaporizes them.
The Langoliers.
But now I don't.
Was it a Babylon 5 episode?
I don't know.
Because my book, Delta Quadrant, The Unofficial Guide to Voyager, as I said, it likes to quote things that in the deja vu section that reminds the author of other episodes of things. And he writes, the handling of the revelation that the Inarans are responsible for genocide is similar to that in the Babylon 5 episode, Secrets of the Soul, though that was made after this one.
So it's... Oh, Jesus Christmas.
So I don't remember... I wouldn't know the name of that episode off the top of my head, so...
Yeah, there's just something very familiar about it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But unfortunately, I cannot verify. But yeah, no, I think, like I said, it was well done, well handled, tonally worked. I, again, am glad that really nothing... Because early on, it seemed like maybe the B-plot with Harry and the engineer was going to be something, and I'm glad it wasn't, because it would not have fit in here.
Yeah, it was just enough to show that they're a presence on the ship. They've been working here for the time that they've been doing stuff, and that they're also here in engineering, helping us with something.
Yeah, and this really didn't have a B-plot, and I think that's good.
It also didn't have a ton of technobabble, which is good.
Yep.
And having an actual big romantic B-plot would have been, like, hugely inappropriate.
Yeah.
In this
Any
episode.
B-plot, I think, would have just taken time away from the central plot.
Which was already a really good
yeah,
plot.
yeah, like, and I think we complained about that before. So I was like, did we have to have this? Couldn't we just devoted more time? And this time they listened retroactively somehow.
Yes.
Um,
they saw into the future like they sometimes do.
Like, hey, this whiny asshole in the early 21st century. I will say, again, it was strange they weren't in uniform, but again, I personally thought Harry's suit was kind of fun.
I liked it.
I wrote in my notes, it looks like he's a little boy in daddy's clothes.
Wow, I think you just don't like Harry Kim.
No, I love Harry Kim as a character.
No,
I just
he's
thought
actually pretty great.
I just thought he looked very silly in what looked like the equivalent of a oversized suit.
Tom's was very Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Tuvok, when Tuvok is in civilian clothing, not for the sake of a disguise, as Caitlin reminded me, as we'll find out next week, they put him in some damn good clothes. I remember a few weeks ago there on a romance novel episode, he was in that, like, fantastic robe in his quarters and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure Janeway was just in the suit we're going to see her in next week. This is getting confusing.
See what you've done. This is what happens.
No, I didn't make this plan.
I feel like it's my fault. I'm pretty sure it's my fault. I'll take the hit on this one.
Cool. I also liked Janeway's little costume. It's that kind of like very competent looking kind of clothing that's also casual.
Yeah.
So yeah, she looks great. As I said, I loved the little jacket B'Elanna got to wear. Janeway totally came during that whole ball playing scene.
Yep.
Oh yeah, big time in front of everybody, which was very embarrassing, I'm sure.
It was kind of sad because it was, we'd never do the, consent is important. Like, these seem like an alright bunch of people. Oh, they're Nazis. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
There's always Nazis. There's always, like, we had the space Nazis that subjugated the Kazon. Remember those guys?
Don't want to say tame, but I thought it's an Oberntane. Something like that. Yeah, those jerks.
Yeah. There's always space Nazis in this show.
Well, it's because the history is littered with Nazis. They just had different names in the past, and they're the most recent one that we can point to and use that as a catch-all.
Yeah, I loved how at the very end when B'Elanna's passing the information off to that chick, she basically, like, the context is, this could happen again if no one knows it's happened before.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, we're doing that right fucking now. Because I was just reading up on, like, how they're banning all these random math books in Florida because
I saw
critical race theory.
Not sure how you do that with math, but...
I think
most of them have to do with anything.
Most of them are getting canceled because they mention Common Core, and they're so scared of Common Core in Florida.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Because if you do Common Core math...
You might not learn math.
You might learn math, but you might become a homosexual. Which you can't have in Florida.
This country is doomed. So,
I always love thinking of that Looney Tunes when Bugs saws Florida off into the sea.
Yeah, love that. Fucking just the best.
The fucking hero we need.
Yeah, but it's not. But you can't stop at Florida because we also got Texas now.
Arizona.
Yep.
Even here now, bunch of fucking parents are bringing some sort of transphobic lawsuit against a school.
Oh,
great.
Yeah, so this has been Sad Reality Corner. Back to fantasy. Sad reality.
Back to sad, not reality.
God.
So, one thing I thought was kind of weak in this episode was the reason why the Anarans genocided these people.
They were just technical.
Because
they were like Luddites or whatever.
Yeah, like, I mean, what I just sort of
didn't bathe enough.
What I made up for myself was like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, they were taking up land they probably wanted.
Yeah.
Resources they wanted. That's what it comes down to is like, here was a group of people who was using space that, they probably wanted to build a factory on or
but then you can just relocate them. You don't need to kill them.
That's true.
Yeah, I love how B'Elanna says to the chick, like, okay, if you want to believe this stuff, go find where they were sent because you're not gonna find.
Like,
it.
I wish they would have explained why they rejected technology. Like, if it maybe we find out that it's like a religious difference.
See, if these are also
that
the
wouldn't
people,
make me love it anymore, to be honest.
Really?
I'm not a religious person, and I think that not doing technology because you're religious. No one's going to listen to this, right? Because they don't use technology. I think it's a little...
Stupid.
Well, it is.
But I feel the same way about people that don't want to do medicine because of
but
religion.
you don't think that we should genocide them?
Oh my god, no! I said it was no. My god,
if it's the people from Innocence, yes,
I
they're jerks.
Yeah, let me clarify one thing.
Jerks.
Anytime I make any overarching statements about any group of people, I never mean so we should genocide them. Like
that was the thing.
I basically don't ever think genocide is the answer.
I was sitting there and I was like, I mean, I hate anti-vaxxers too, but I don't want to kill them. I just want them to get the fuck away from me.
They're killing themselves
killed.
anyway. Yeah.
No, I guess my point is, I wish there were more than just the idea that, these people don't shop at Best Buy, so, fuck them.
I mean, I guess the point there, though, is just that, when you look at this stuff throughout history, there's... Whatever the excuse is, it doesn't matter, because it's just, they'll find one.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, it comes down to, you have something I want, is usually what it is. Or I need a scapegoat, and you'll do, because it'll distract from... goodness knows. Well, I think that's really, in a way, focusing on that would have almost... it would have taken time away from sort of the core emotional arc. And again, you just look at genocide throughout history, and it's there's always a reason, quote unquote. But at the end of the day, it's just people being horrible to people. And it's usually either, again, just you want land or resources, or you need to... turn the attention of your populace away from your own fuckery, so you make up people to hate. Or you take people and make up a reason to hate a group of people.
Right.
It leaves it more sort of general. Speaking, though, of fascism, I will say that I appreciated the clothing design for the, flashback Anaran government people. Because it definitely had a very fascist vibe without just being Nazi uniforms. Which, I feel like quite often people fall back on, shades of Nazi uniform. Even Star Trek, again, I'm not saying they don't. But in this case, they were let's have something that looks like it's plainly, these are not nice people, but let's do something different. Extra bit of work there, I felt.
Yeah. I kept thinking during this episode, if we had a Betazoid on board still... they'd be able to tell us when they're lying about things.
No, you see, but inevitably there would be, their telepathy keeps me from being able to get a read.
Every fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
My incompetence as a telepath is making it impossible for me to read.
What I'm saying is, I still miss Suitor.
We all do.
Suitor would have been now these are my kind of people.
That's actually basically true.
No, because Suitor had a deep psychological issue and just enjoyed killing, and damn it, he did not discriminate.
That's true.
Plus, he wouldn't like genocidal maniacs, because if the genocidal maniacs kill all the people, who's he gonna kill?
True.
It's kind of like that time in the comics where, better example, actually.
Oh no, I wanted to know the first one.
And it involved Batman, so now you know.
Oh no, I don't.
But also, this is relevant to us. It's kind of like when the gangsters, who are surely murderers in The Rocketeer, are whoa.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Gangster Plan.
I might be a criminal, but I ain't no Nazi.
Yes.
Yeah, and I guess Suitor probably would see that way because he was a member of the Maquis. So he...
Although it feels like he maybe just joined the Maquis because it made for easy killing.
Opportunity for killing.
Yeah, it's it's like...
I like killing, they like me to kill. It really is it's a good choice of career path.
I'm sure
he just mows down an entire battalion of Cardassians. He's like, wow, Suitor, you're great at killing Cardassians. He's like, Cardassians?
I'm sure his ideology was mostly just you let me kill them?
What's a Cardassian?
Yeah, he didn't care that they were Cardassians. He just was
I'm gonna work for whoever wants to pay me to kill the most guys.
Yeah, he'd have been a great merc. Goddamn post-scarcity society making it hard to be a merc.
Anywho, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
It definitely, it left me with, very effective, because I'm sure this was the intent, but it left me with, really kind of bummed out.
Yeah, it was
I know there is supposed to be that spark of, maybe this woman will begin to change things, but it's this is depressing.
Yeah, and you definitely, but I do like that it's left unresolved. I like that it's kind of it's like a cliffhanger, but we'll never get the other edge of that cliff, right?
Maybe in Prodigy. I don't see them revisiting this in a kid's show.
It'd be kind of cool, though, if they did, since Janeway is still kind of there.
I feel like this episode it's not like a very.
And plus, I feel
it's not
like
one of the key episodes that they would revisit.
And also,
on a future show.
Don't.
Yeah.
I feel like giving us an answer would actually lessen it. No matter what the answer is,
Speaking of giving us an answer,
Oh,
let's
no.
let's start moving on.
Must we? Let's just
It's
talk
so
about...
It's so funny because I was reading up on this on Sacred Ground, which we'll talk about in a hot second, and I saw Sacred Ground is in the bottom 10 of episodes for Voyager. The synopsis isn't that bad. How bad can it be? Tell us, Chris. Tell us.
Sacred Ground does this amazing trick where you see the title, and if you're like me, you go, oh no, this is going to be a Chakotay episode. It's going to be awful.
You shouldn't think that just because it might be a Chakotay episode.
Well, so far, all the Chakotay episodes have been really...
Keep an open mind, is what I'm saying.
The problem is, it's usually racist, made-up Native American things that are wrong, and I'm sad. But instead, I read, the episode description, and I'm like, oh, it's not a Chakotay episode. Maybe it'll be... Oh my god, I think it's possibly as bad as some of the bad Chakotay episodes. So... Voyager is at Nachani? I've already forgotten.
Nachini?
Ooh, that sounds like a delicious pasta.
I was gonna
Or
say,
like
that
a-
sounds
or like
like
an
an
ice cream.
Italian food that I would like to eat.
So
Like a
anywho,
gelato.
they're at this planet and they're having some shore leave and they're being shown around a sacred site. And Kes wanders off.
Fucking
Neelix.
Kes, am I right?
And she
How
gets,
many times do I have to tell them to put locks on the doors?
Well, at least once more.
And she, checks out this one little area that you really think would have a velvet rope or something.
Yeah.
Because if you get too close, you get murdered by religion. So Kes is
Accurate.
lying in the sick bay, dying, and Janeway's all, what do we do? And the minister is all like, look, we've got some hardcore separation of church and state here, we actually mean it. I know fuck all about this. Monks are like, look, she went to a
We let them
sacred area.
do whatever. Oh, no.
But within their little
Not
hut, which...
that much separation
Fine.
of church and state.
But then, it's the monks consider the situation resolved and the spirits and yada yada. And then, Neelix actually finds an old legend of a king whose son basically pulled a Kes.
Yeah,
and
in
managed...
the only good part of this episode, Neelix does a thing.
Yeah, and it's very effective because he's like, so yeah, the king, got the monks to give him an audience with the spirits, and the spirits did this and that, and, so James like, aha, and she calls up the minister, and she's like, here's this legend of yours. He's like, wow, good research.
Good legend.
But, he was a king. It's like, I'm a captain. I'm responsible, too, like a king. And he's like,
King Janeway. I like
fuck,
that.
I like that loophole. And they call up the monks, and the monks are like, fuck, that's good. So then...
Neelix continues to try to do things and be really fucking annoying the whole episode.
What else did Neelix do?
Yeah, I don't remember. I was too busy.
Wasn't this the episode where he just keeps buzzing around sick bay and being like, "What can I do to help? Well, what can I do? Could I give her my lungs? Oh no, whoops, I can't do that. I guess
the person he cares about is in a state. I get it.
I know.
I thought he was very sweet this
Yeah, he
episode.
was. Yeah.
You were bitching about it too when we were watching. Don't say us
I was
now.
not.
You were a little bit.
Oh, no. What I did say was when he offered to help, and then he did end up helping because he found the legend. I said, Neelix, I get it, but what are you going to do, make soup at them? So I was
Should've
proven
made
wrong.
soup with them.
I was proven wrong, I will admit. But yeah, so...
But you gotta keep that open mind.
Yeah, Janeway goes on a vision quest, but they don't call it that.
It's a trial ritual
Something.
thing.
So they did mention vision quests.
They did. I was actually, again, I'm surprised Chakotay didn't pipe up more. Again, glad he didn't. The most he said was... when he was explaining the scientific basis to Vision Quest, he was kind of bummed.
Let's get back at some point to the Chakotay stuff this episode.
Yes,
I
let's.
thought that was good.
So Janeway goes on this quest, but she's taking it too scientifically and literally, so she gets an answer, or she thinks she does, but doesn't work, and it almost kills Kes more, and then she goes back and talks to George's mother for a bit, and...
Mrs. Costanza, what the hell were you doing here?
Looking way younger than she does on Seinfeld, even though it's the same time.
She looked super young. I think it's. I stand by my assertion that it's because she had longer hair and she wasn't wearing a
Grandma
old
clothes,
woman
yeah.
Florida muumuu.
Yeah. But yeah, so then Janeway somehow, I don't know, she, in a betrayal basically of everything Star Trek and Janeway stand for, she just opens her heart or whatever and
Decides to have blind faith or whatever.
yeah, and just takes Kes back to the thing, and they both get near it, and there's a zap, and somehow the day is saved, and the doctor is giving the scientific explanation, and Janeway's looking sort of wistful. It's yes, very scientific, doctor, and fuck me, this episode sucked.
Yeah, this one was rough.
It got incredibly repetitive. I know, and here's another sad element, is this was the directorial debut of Robbie Duncan McNeil.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, yeah, I was so excited to do this episode. He did a montage scene. Oh, Robbie, honey.
Okay, that was a montage?
What did he do? What did he...
All the stuff in, like, the trial that was happening. Like,
Yeah.
hold the stone. What do you see in the stone?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean, why is his directorial debut... Who is he?
That's Paris.
Tom Paris.
Oh!
He will go on to direct more episodes.
I've been watching this show, guys. Can you tell?
Yeah, well,
mean,
I don't think it's his fault that it sucks.
Yeah, as we often say when an episode is poorly written, the director didn't write it.
And
Right.
I
And
don't
you
know, I
can't
got
make a
super
sow's
bored,
ear
though.
into a silk purse. You know, if you
Yeah.
give him shit, you can't shine.
Though I
him
will
gold.
say, and again, maybe this was the fault of the script more than what he did, but it was super unclear to me if, like, that was a montage or, like, Janeway hallucinated the painting part and the climbing part.
I was
and-
wondering that, too. I was wondering if the guide ever existed. Because I would
Interesting.
love for her to not have existed.
I would love for this episode to have never existed.
That too. I think, and here's one of the biggest troubles I have with this episode, because, you know, the whole science versus faith,
Ugh.
Janeway has to learn that sometimes she can't figure out the reason to something, and yada yada. Sure, you can probably make an episode about that that's interesting. This one was not. And one of my biggest gripes was that the guide lady was so condescending the whole fucking episode long that it made me really hate this whole faith approach.
Oh, yeah.
That it just felt like being judged the whole time. It felt like they were toying with Janeway the whole time instead of, you know, being earnest and wanting to ever help fucking Kes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were pretty much like, oh, is she dying? Sucks. Bye.
See, really, what they needed was, instead of having that actress play the guide, they really needed Louise Fletcher to play the guide.
That would be way too condescending. I don't think it should have been condescending at all. I think it should have been played like a fucking person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Louise
but that's not how it was written.
Kai Wynn.
I don't think.
Oh my god.
Like,
Yeah.
if
Too condescending.
The way it was written was condescending.
Ugh.
And I don't think. I
Which
think.
was...
I think you're right. I think a little My Child action would have
Yeah, I would have liked it better.
And
if
it was
were-
too bad, because at first she was just kind of like...
whimsical.
Yeah, like she stole the tricorder and this and that, but then she just became an asshole.
Yeah, she turned into a
Yeah.
bitch.
That
It just...
actress is like in other things. I'm sure.
Probably. Most
I
are.
think she's the mom from fucking Linda Cardellini.
Just shoot me?
What the fuck words are you saying?
High school.
Freaks
Seth
and
Rogen.
Geeks.
Freaks and Geeks.
Wow, how the
Nice.
fuck did I've never even seen the show, so
Wow.
Damn. And you got
Um,
it in one.
But yeah, like, I just... You know, like, as Caitlin pointed out, you know, it's like how, you know... DS9 already kind of does this faith versus science thing, but with that, like...
The faith turns out to be science.
And also, like, and yeah, there are still people who believe in it more, in a more religious aspect, and, like, despite the scientific explanations, like, I still think this and that, and even I think you could argue maybe Cisco buys into it in a more faithful way as time passes on, but it's
Well,
like...
and he doesn't really have much choice at the end, so they fucking zap
Well,
him
that
out of
too,
his
yeah.
reality.
But, like, it still just feels a little more balanced in that, where, like, they let you decide. Whereas this, it just feels like it's coming down firmly on the side of faith.
Well, except they do have the doctor kind of explain it at the end that
But
it
it's
was
so half-assed.
because Janeway went through the first quest and got exposed to that whatever
Toxin, yeah.
Yeah. Her body had the capability to deflect the
Yeah.
secret beams, and because she was carrying Cassid.
But again, that's all just sort of undercut by Janeway being wistful and being it's very scientific. Like, yes, you're a scientist. You should be like, oh, okay, I can go back to being normal now. And
she also
realize
hadn't slept for 3 days.
True.
That was a woman who wanted a nap.
Yeah,
It's a lot of days.
I really
Holding a stone.
You know, as much as I liked seeing George's mom.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh god, when we revisited the fucking waiting room, Jake just asks, like, why does this waiting room even exist?
Well, yeah, because I like
What? Why does any
is
of
it
Jake?
like? Is it supposed to be like? I don't know, like literary reference or something? Like
Oh, fuck! That's what I meant to say, and I didn't.
Oh,
What does it mean? What are they?
You'll never get a
literary
chance.
reference?
You'll never get a chance to say it
Well,
now,
no, but
Chris.
it would have been part. I was gonna intro it with like Janeway does a hell as other people and forgot, and it would have been better then than it is now. But I'm keeping this in.
Damn it!
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
what
it seemed
happens
like
when you
that,
put
or
him in
like some
charge.
kind of Beckett bullshit. Or,
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
It did feel like it was
You know,
maybe.
it had like that end game sort of.
See, the problem here is that like, do they tailor this for every person that comes in? Because like, unless everyone is coming in a super skeptic like Janeway, like, whatever happens, what happens when someone comes wanting to just embrace it and all? They're just like, oh, fuck, this is gonna be really quick. It's just. Ugh.
Yeah, but like having the old people in there just kind of like bickering with each other and oh, what time? Oh, we've been here forever.
Oh, now she thinks we're a test.
She came in and she's treating her body like an amusement park.
I have to admit, I did enjoy. Oh, first she thinks we're a test. Now we're the spirits. That was funny. I liked her. I maybe would have liked the episode if it was just Janeway in that room with those people for like 30 minutes.
No, I'd have gotten tired of it pretty fast.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think we got just as much as we needed of them, to be honest.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And then, everything in the first quest, like the montage and everything, the painting.
What do I paint? What do you think you should paint, my
Yeah.
child?
Right. It just seems.
I really
So was the
should've been
idea
there.
that Janeway just decided that I should be painting because that's something you do on a spiritual quest?
Let's go with yes.
Because that seemed to be the implication. That,
Yeah, it was all just humoring her. Like, you want a quest? We'll give you a quest. It's not gonna do anything. Like, they told her so many times this is meaningless that it really, really made the whole sequence meaningless.
Mm.
Well, it's good for them. Success, I guess.
I just what?
I would say just let Kes die at that point, man.
It's kind of how I felt by the
They
end of
don't.
this episode.
I mean, the writers have nothing for the character to do, so like, let's just put her in a coma for a whole.
I will say, like, all right, I'm not going to say General Order 24 to this planet. That would be awful. But focus target that fucking temple and just raise it.
Also, okay, even the fucking Justice Planet people at least said what the rules were up front.
They didn't say the death thing up front.
No, but these people, like, if you have a fucking death arch in your
Put up
your
a sign.
you put up a velvet rope. You say, do not stand near, lean on, or enter this arch.
A gate. Put up a gate. Something. Imply.
Don't even look at it. You've seen enough.
Yeah, like, if
just
you really
move on.
Just put up like one of those room dividers, like a nice screen.
Yeah.
Or one of those baby
nothing to
gates.
see here.
Yeah, baby gate.
Because
That'd
it
be
seems
good.
extremely easy
No cats
for
allowed.
for a child to wander into it. Which
Yeah, and if you're gonna let people just freely tour it, then you have to be like, there are gonna be people here who don't know what's going on.
Mhm.
They won't know about our murder wall.
It's my murder wall.
and was the murder wall like a piece of technology?
They
They claimed
said it was a naturally occurring phenomenon.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I get it. Like, if, you're a cave person and there's a murder wall, you're gonna go, ooh, gods must live here and build a temple around it. So that, I get. That makes sense.
They got the arch around it perfectly without touching it.
Well, that's why I was like, it kind of looked like technology.
Well, they were, many Bothans died to build that temple.
Bothans?
It's a Star
Return
Wars
of the Jedi reference.
thing.
Sure it is.
They many Bothans died to bring us the plans for this new
Thanks for explaining.
Death Star.
Good work.
I don't even know what a Bothan is, though. Is it like a race of people?
Yeah, they never actually show them in the films or anything.
No, there you go. So they mention the Bothans whom we never see, and yet Ewoks never get named in the fucking movie. So George Lucas makes sense yet again.
Well, so I noticed that we've met the magistrate before, because I spotted him. I'm like, this guy looks fucking familiar.
Oh.
He was a Betazoid, because again, we needed a Betazoid this week. He played Tam Ebrin, the guy from Tin Man.
Oh, okay.
Who felt too much.
Yeah, that's funny,
They
because
made a chair just for him.
I recognized a couple different people this week, but not him.
We're going to see him more in Enterprise as well.
Oh, neat. Yeah, we're gonna see Fascist Daddy in Enterprise as well.
Fascist dad. Oh, Senator Kelly.
Yeah.
Who?
Senator
B'Elanna's
Kelly was, yeah.
Dream father was played by the same actor that played Senator Kelly in the X-Men movies.
Sure. Jesus Christ, you guys are full of references I'm not gonna get.
I mean, we're nerds talking about nerd shit. What do you want from us?
He's also in the really bad adaptation of 6 Degrees of Separation. Never watched that. It is an amazing cast where everyone is having an off day. It's very sad.
Anyway, I wanted to get back to
Chakotay.
Chakotay giving us insight without being kind of caricature about it.
Yeah.
And he actually tells us that his mother, whom we never know, like, who she is really, that I know of, and I don't know if we ever will, but she kind of, like, tells him some of the science behind various rituals, and he says, and it kind of ruined the magic for me, like, ruined the faith that's involved with it, which makes a little sense why Chakotay didn't really accept his faith for a while until Dadams died.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very nice scene because you would want to use Chakotay wisely in this moment, and I thought it was a good use.
Yeah, they definitely could have really, well, as they fucked it up, but really used Chakotay like they often do.
Yeah.
Which is with their incorrect information.
Yeah, he'd say, "Well, Janeway, do you want to go visit your guide animal again and see what it has to say?"
Talk to the lizard. And she'd be like, "Oh,
I
this
was
is
really
awkward."
hoping because there's that creature in the box, the Nesset, that bitter.
Oh,
we never got to see it.
I was hoping it would be Elizabeth.
Me too.
What?
I was right there with you. I was like, oh no.
What's in the box?
What's
Pain.
That's a Dune reference.
I got that one because we've seen Dune.
Oh yeah. All right. Good.
Check out our Dune coverage somewhere
Sorry,
on
I
SoundCloud.
didn't think you got it because you weren't laughing at that obviously hilarious reference.
Oh yeah, it was hysterical.
Yes, hysterical. Okay. Well. Here's a reference for you guys. I thought of the when we meet the guide and she's just playing with lights in the cave and getting the lights to work, and then you realize, oh, you're the one who's the guide. And I wrote like, wow, the Yoda reveal was better.
You mentioned
she's
Yoda.
Yodaing around. Yep.
You said it when she took the tricorder. I think. Yeah, sure was.
I'd like to think Chakotay's mom dumped his dad because he just kept stripping off whenever he met people.
Oh no!
It's like, darling, this is getting weird.
Getting weird?
I mean, it's one thing when you're just in the middle of nowhere and you meet other hikers, and that's freaky, but a lot of them are on fucking LSD and into it, but now we're at a bar. I don't know why hikers are on LSD. I had to pick it.
Oh dear.
I mean, that can be the only explanation for anyone wanting to hike. No offense, Ames.
I don't do any else.
Ames, I love you. I didn't mean anything by it.
Thank you.
Cool.
Don't sound so enthusiastic, Jake.
Here's my final note on my card. Janeway just killed science as much as she killed Tuvix.
Oh, I hope they never reference this episode again.
Yeah, because...
Like, why would they?
Well,
There's
because
nothing of note.
You'd think after this episode, Janeway's faith in science would be shaken. Because science isn't always the answer when, Jesus goddamn Christ, this wasn't science. This whole episode wasn't even science.
It was bullshit. It was a big pile of bullshit. I'm not often one of those people that gives a fuck about, quote-unquote, what Gene Roddenberry's vision was, because normally people invoke that because they're mad that there's a black person on the screen.
Or that the women are wearing lots of clothing.
But I will say, this kind of stands against a lot of what Gene Roddenberry
And,
believed.
here's the thing. We are going to have what I think is a much better faith versus science episode this season.
Ooh, okay.
Which is also a ridiculous episode that you're either gonna love or hate.
Oh,
no.
no.
I look
I'm very
forward.
much looking
Getting
forward
ready to get on the hate train.
Woo!
Yeah.
Chugga chugga!
Because there's some things
Open
about
mind.
it that are incredibly stupid, but it is an interesting faith versus science debate.
Let's be honest, how many really good Star Trek episodes are like, this is 95% good, but what the fuck just happened there?
All of them.
So, segue into Blogtivity.
Yeah, segue into our Blogtivity. Y'all will remember that for the past couple of weeks we've been talking about our memory trip down... Wow, that was a sentence.
Yep.
We were going down a road trip down memory lane into TOS because we saw Split Sulu, so we had to.
Yeah.
And our final in the segment on TOS stuff is going to be our favorite races from the original series. Now, I realize most of them kind of blur together because almost everybody just looks like humans and almost everybody we don't see a lot of. So
Yeah. It's like
take this with some grains of salt.
I was thinking that, like, God, I mean, I
Grains
know
of salt.
all treks
Many
do,
grains.
you know,
Much
like
salt.
have like, they'll fall back on fuck it, these aliens look exactly like humans, but at least later ones will occasionally be like, let's throw some token spots on them or something. But so many in TOS are just people, and it's
They're people. They're often monocultures. They're often specifically there to make a point.
yeah, like they are so just upping the allegory.
Yeah, but I'll get us started with some people who don't look like people at fucking all. And I realize also that the races that I'm picking are also ones that we don't see a lot of representations from. Because the ones that I picked are all the last of their species. I'm gonna start her off with the Horda,
of course,
whom we loved. I know we talked about her in our favorite character episode, which you should go check out. You can also read about this up on our Tumblr. But Horda was a great one because I thought that was a very unique race of aliens that we saw that we didn't quite know what they were, and the whole unraveling of what these creatures were was a very nice touch.
And ultimately, not the last of her species.
Yay!
Yeah, because she had Babby, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just weren't hatched yet.
That's why she was being so protective.
Bunch of teeny tiny pizza blobs.
Yum, like a
delicious
bagel pizza.
Babbies.
If pizza's on a bagel,
You can eat Horda anytime.
thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you.
I'm also going to say the M113 creature, also known as the Salt Vampire, whom we loved an awful lot.
I actually wondered if you were going to mention the Salt Vampire, but then I couldn't remember if she was the last of her kind.
Yeah, we meet her in very, very early in season 1 in the Man Trap, and she just wanted to survive, and she had a good thing going on planet with Crater or Corby. I get them confused. Crater, I think.
Sure.
I'm gonna say Crater.
Let's go with that.
Until ever the fucking Enterprise screwed everything up, and now there's no more salt vampires, and RIP. Speaking of RIP, I'm gonna also give my final favorite race to the androids created by the old ones, including our best friend Ruck.
Ruck.
A great race of creatures, because we get like really interesting little glimpses of like what that must have been like, because he talks about the old ones, and I know this was an episode by Robert Bloch, who was very into Lovecraft. He was a good friend of Lovecraft, so it's a Lovecraftian race, and I'm just into these guys. I wish they'd been able to stick around because their stories would have been great. So those are my 3. Does Caitlin want to go next?
What's everybody looking at me for?
Because you looked at me.
Don't look at me. Somebody else.
Okay, Jake.
Okay, sure. So I was going to say the Horta.
You can say the Horta
I'm
sure.
going to repeat the Horta
Yes!
because I do love her, and because she just wants to do good. She's
No kill eye.
You fuck around and find out, but if you're a friend, then she'll help you mine. She's just a nice lady. She'll help you out. Speaking of nice ladies, the next one I was going to say is the Telosians.
Cool.
Which is actually a late edition because I just saw, we were watching that show today.
That's
I was
true.
like,
We watched
the
The Cage
Telosians
today.
are actually pretty cool, pretty interesting. They're kind of bastards, but their heart's in the right place.
Yeah, I like that they advanced outside their minds and all this stuff. That's a cool story.
Yeah, and because I had kind of forgotten the angle that their planet was wiped out by war. And they had to move underground because the surface was uninhabitable. So there's sort of a parallel, and the reason that they became so, presumably they weren't, walking brains until they moved down underground and had to only focus on their intellectual pursuits.
Yeah, and then sort of got lost in fantasy lands that they were creating.
Yeah, I don't have to build stuff. I can just imagine a pizza,
Yeah.
and the Horda will bring me a pizza.
Yeah.
Give me pizza.
And it's
You
interesting.
can eat pizza anytime!
It's kind of
E-I-Z-Z-A.
in a way, it's that old idea of stuck in a fantasy world, except you put yourself there, kind of, and you're you eventually realize, oh, we have fucked up.
Yeah. And then my third is going to be the Iosians.
Oh,
Who
yes!
are our gangster planet friends.
Yes! Good pick, Jake.
Because, I love Gangster Planet. That's, one of my top episodes. And, and I like the idea of the Iosians, that they're not very bright, I guess.
Well, it's
but
interesting.
they're really good at copying shit.
I was gonna say, like, they're on the one hand not very bright, but on the other hand, create this whole civilization based on photos, probably. Like, there's no way the book went into detail about how to build an internal combustion engine,
Right.
But they figured it out.
Well, yeah, they're not particularly creative. Like, they're lacking that type of intelligence.
Yeah.
But in terms of like they must be really incredible engineers. They just don't know how to like create their own shit. So they just absorb whatever culture was the last one that they met. And like, I would really love. I think the only thing that I would really love that would be fan servicey that they could do on a show like Lower Decks is to revisit Ioshan planet,
and they're all wearing
and they're all in TOS outfits, and they're all acting like Starfleet of the 22nd century or 23rd century.
Did we leave a phaser on that planet that they could recreate something from?
No, I think Doc forgot his communicator.
That's fine. Silly Doc.
Or tricorder? One of those. It wasn't a gun. Because that was the thing, they wanted the fancy heaters.
Yeah.
Good choices, Jake.
Yeah. So, of course, mine are the Yangs and the Coons, and the Roman planet people.
Oh, these are jokes. I'm not going to write these down.
That's the thing. That's a key thing, is like, what's great about Gangster Planet is it's not parallel development, it is
cultural contamination.
Engineered development.
Yeah, and perhaps, I had a lot to say about the Iotians and the Telosians, because those were two of mine as well.
Mm.
So, yes, I'm going to second the Telosians, the original Trek aliens.
Yay!
In their wacky, wacky ways. The Sigma Iosian 2ers, or whatever, and their fancy heaters and funny hats.
Scrap the heaters.
And then it was really actually very hard to come up with another that really stood out.
Unicorn dog.
Ooh, there we go.
First Federation.
That's a good one.
I had considered that. I'd even considered the rock alien sort of stuff, and I briefly considered the Romulans. So I remember they were actually only in TOS twice.
Well, that we see them, I think their ships are flying around multiple times, but
possibly, but they're only actually shown and involved twice. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna go with something that maybe is kind of obvious, but fuck it. The Vulcans.
oh, there you go.
Like, especially
they're assholes.
A good TOS Vulcan, they're still sort of getting established, but a lot of it is here and carries through. And like a lot of the best sort of stuff with these species, like, you owe so much to what ended up going right with the Ferengi to like the
Armin
performance.
Shimmerman,
Yeah, Armin
specifically.
Shimmerman and the actors and all that, and like. I actually was reading an article the other day about how he really wanted to push for them to be more than just the TNG caricatures.
Good.
And things like that. Like,
Love Armin.
he purposely played him as a bit more conflicted in Alamoraine episode, Move Along Home, than he was written.
Good on him.
And so that kind of was what encouraged the writers to be like, okay, let's try to give them a bit more depth. And like, I mean, so much of what we think of as Vulcans is like entirely due to Nimoy.
Exactly.
I mean, not just his performance, but his input. He came up with a neck pinch because they were like, all right, so the original thing was Spock was gonna just hit the guy with the butt of his gun. And he's like, it seems a bit inelegant. Can he have some kind of Vulcan trick he does? And they went, sure, I guess. He came up with the idea of mind meld. Like, so much of it is down to him. And again, I think even though, like, his performance was maybe informed by the idea that his character had some human ancestry, but I think it's still, like, the best Vulcan actors understand that it's not that they're emotionless, it's that they suppress it.
And Tuvok does a great job.
He does.
Yeah,
he does. And they occasionally slip, and sometimes stuff gets through, and the best Vulcans also are kind of sassy.
I am gonna be very interested because I know this episode I think is coming out the week before Strange New Worlds comes out.
Oh boy!
And I'm very curious how they're going to deal with the Vulcans in that show.
It'll be interesting to see
because I know in Discovery they already did a lot of interesting. Sometimes I'm conflicted by how they're doing how did the Vulcans in Discovery. Ethan Peck needs to learn to fucking do the eyebrow. Son of a bitch. But yeah, we'll see.
I much preferred when he had a beard. It's just no good without the beard.
He looks so much better with it.
He looks awful without it. I mean...
At least they kind of mussed up his hair, because when it was dead straight, like Spock is supposed to have it, it didn't work for him.
Oh, it doesn't work this way.
I don't like any
No,
of it.
but it works
Everything
better
about
than
it now
it
is
did.
terrible.
Way too
They
short.
sold us... You know what it is? It's like Ethan Peck with the beard. That's like the Amazon Spock, and then we got the Wish.com Spock.
But Caitlin, tell us more about your TOS picks.
Well, golly.
Trelane 3 times.
Yeah, whatever the fuck Trelane was. Tellarites.
Oh, cool!
We never really get to know them very well, but we do get to be horrified by their terrifying fucking black hole eyeball masks. So that's creepy. But, like, we know they kind of go on to be more important. But they're also just kind of dicks, which I like. Kind of aggressive.
Oh, yeah, we killed Gav, right?
I don't think Gav... Oh, actually, yeah, he is, right? He's the one that gets murdered? Isn't he?
So.
Isn't he the one that gets moited in the...
Yeah, Tellurite gets murdered in
But is it him? I just don't remember if it's Gav
I don't remember.
or not. Well, anyway, Tellurites, they're cool. Tribbles?
That's
they're an alien
They're
species.
adorable.
Doy.
And... Am I allowed to say something from TAS?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Not Bem.
No,
not Bem.
No.
Not the
Way
Pandrins.
better than that.
Satan.
Adosians. Our buddy Eric's.
Oh, I love
The
that.
tripedal species, skilled at using their 3 arms and 3 legs in navigation and piloting.
Okay, that's great.
They're
then,
really
Caitlin.
good at being zoomed in on and going, ha 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 ha.
You know what?
In
With-
James Doohan's voice.
With the budgets they are now throwing at Star Trek, I want to see a really well-made,
Oh God.
not CG.
Not CG.
No, get
like
the-
a puppet.
get
like-
Henson.
Yeah.
Get
Get
Henson
the
to
Farscape
make us.
people.
That was Henson.
Exactly.
And get Henson's people to make, and maybe it's a suit, maybe it's a complete animatronic. I don't know, but they could make it work.
Yeah, because I know the pilot in Farscape had multiple arms, so they can do it.
Yeah, no, I think
His laugh will probably be better than the animated.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Don't do CG. It's not going to age well. Get us a really good, puppet or puppet suit combo thing. They could pull it off now.
They should. They totally should.
Definitely should.
Yeah, this was tricky because people that kept coming to mind were
I'm surprised no one said Romulans. I was prepared to go get a good Romulan scream grab.
well, because I was they sprung to mind immediately, but so much what we know about them comes from their later appearances.
No, but we got Mark Leonard.
Yeah,
Mark
and he's
Leonard
great.
playing
His
that one
episode's great,
Romulan.
but for me, the charm of the Romulans is their
They're scheming.
idiot,
They're really bad
overcomplicated
scheming.
scheme hatchery from TNG onward.
When they were back.
So many times. I thought of the Andorians. It's like everything I love about the Andorians is from Shran
Is
and
Shran?
Enterprise.
I actually
not
almost-
their 2 appearances in TOS.
I almost said Andorians too, and almost said because then we get Shran, but I don't really know anything about Shran yet, except that I want to bang him.
Except that it's Jeffrey Combs, and therefore we automatically love Shran.
Yeah, I
Right,
know.
right.
It's too bad that I couldn't just say my favorite race from Star Trek TOS is fucking Jeffrey Combs because he was not in it. But
When we get to DS9, we do the same activity for
Yes,
DS9.
Jeffrey Combs.
Just
Oh,
Jeffrey
God.
Combs 5 times.
Or even the Medusans. Well, Zero, really. I love Zero.
Zero's great.
I mean, nothing wrong with the Medusan we saw, but
Oh yeah, Kalas. Kalas was cool.
yeah.
He would be a good choice for a race, but I like these other
I
races too.
like the plastic vomit aliens.
Oh my god, the parasites!
oh, the flying
yes.
ones that
Yeah.
killed Jim's brother.
Yep, Jim's brother, which was just Shatner in a fake mustache.
Yeah, his brother Tim.
George.
Tim. Does it look like Jim?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Tim and Jim.
Tim and Jim.
Yeah, that was
Nice. Yeah, so this was a good trip down memory lane, as I think I tried to say earlier and failed at. Talking about TOS. Yeah, we should do more of this one with the other series too, because I think that would be a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
definitely.
I have some of those planned. Not yet though, because next week we're doing a different thing. Let me tell you about what we're doing next week. Future's End Parts 1 and 2.
What?
It's gonna be a weird day.
I bet that's gonna be awesome.
We should-
I am so full of hope for this wonderful two-parter.
We should get a guest star for next week.
Because it's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I'll
a
make
guest
some
star is a
calls.
good
It's
idea.
gonna be too much episode for 4 people to handle.
yeah.
Yeah, call Sarah Silverman.
Hey.
Yep, so we're going to do that next week. We're going to do more blogtivities next week. You can check out this blogtivity over on our Tumblr, SSHB Podcast.
Tumblr.
Do the whole Tumblr thing. Check it out there. You can listen to all the other episodes we've done for freaking ever now
So many
over
episodes.
on SoundCloud or, wherever you listen to podcasts. Because you put them everywhere and they show up on all the other lists, so it's fine.
Yep.
It's easy that way because we don't have to do extra work. Yeah, so listen to the other podcasts. You can friend us on the Facebook and the Twitter. And you can rewatch TOS and tell us who your favorite races were then, too. Extra points for Klingons, because no one remembers that they're in TOS.
They are so different.
Yeah, so we'll check you out next week. This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
And this is always Chris. Live long and prosper?
Yeah.
If you have your dignity in a bag, it's only worth a bag. Rule of acquisition 109, she said, having just watched an episode where that gets mentioned.
There we go.
A Deep Space Nine rewatch is good for something.